Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, or comrades, this is Kenya Revolutionary. Karibu. Get in, get in, get in. Karibu sana. My microphone is misbehaving as usual, so please forgive me. We are going to pray for it. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. I'm just coming in for the second session because I want to finish early so I can do some other stuff. You know, I love politics, but there's some other stuff that I have to do. But if you're joining me, please, in this hour, join me quickly because I'm about to break it down to you. There's something suspicious about everything that's been going on, and every news that's come out confirms it for me. Okay? Just for me. This is probably what you're going to call conspiracy theory, but it's a theory regardless. Okay? So follow me carefully. All right? Anyways, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, ingieni hapa, and the first order of business, as you know, is to like this video. Like it. Like it. If you're just getting it, like it. Like it. Like it. Like it. Okay? Like it. And if it's your first time and you're wondering who this is, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. My channel is all about Kenyan politics, or should I say Kenyan politics. Anything to do with Kenyan politics, I'm in it like flies on a rotten pizza. Anyway, karibuni sana. I'm so glad to be here. I'll be here for approximately an hour or maybe more or less. I don't know. It just depends on how it goes. But Raila and Ruto broad-based national conversation / dialogue is on the horizon. Huh? Blessings to you, my sister Jacinta Teresa Smith. Karibu sana. Nice seeing you again. Nice seeing you. Make sure you like the video before we even go on, and subscribe and put the notification on, because I'm about to walk you down the memory lane. And I want to connect the dots. I'm a dot connector. If you want to figure out what these politicians are all about or what they're planning, listen to them carefully. Listen to them what? Carefully. Listen carefully. Something caught my attention yesterday. It was on my timeline on my Twitter page. And I was like, why am I keep on seeing people saying Jimi Wanjigi was meeting up with Eric Omondi? I was like, what's going on? Jimi Wanjigi, Eric Omondi. Jimi Wanjigi, Eric Omondi. And I sat down and I was like, what's Jimi Wanjigi? What is he up to? He for those of you who don't know who Jimi Wanjigi is, he's a billionaire, Kenyan shillings, probably, US dollars, I don't know, multi-millionaire in US dollars. Wealthy man, nevertheless, okay? And he's very active in politics. This guy was on ODM. He wanted to, take over the ODM at some point, whatever. And now he's like, he always have a dream of becoming the president of Kenya one day. In fact, whenever he holds his press conference, he has the whole day set up, and he has everything. Speaks like he's a president giving a press conference. So we know that he has an ambition of actually having an office as the president of Kenya or some stuff, or we don't know, whatever. But he's very much involved in every power play in Kenya. This is a guy who told us that the government of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, the cabinet, was formed in his living room. That's his quote. That's what he said. And there's no doubt about that, because that's how much influence this guy have. Okay, he said the government of the government of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto in 2013 was formed in his what? Bedroom, in his living room, in his house. The two were there, came over, and they were discussing, okay, you're going to be the minister of this, the third. So he knew everything that was going down since 2013. That's how much this guy has been involved. It is said that he bankrolled ODM's party when they were running in 2013 and 2007 or something like that. He was the financier, the money guy. Okay, the guy with the bag, so to speak, as the young folks would say. So Jimi Wanjigi is not your average Josh Moore. Okay, this is a guy who has influence in the corridors of power. Okay, he's known as the money man. He has the influence. He has the influence. Okay, let's just put it that way. He has the influence on both sides, whether it's Ruto's government or Raila's government, and his definitely his frenemies with Uhuru Kenyatta, or should I say even enemies? Sorry, not enemies, but friends. Okay, remember when Ruto started going after Kenyatta's Mama Ngina's pension and land, talking about they should pay more taxes. And Jimi Wanjigi was in the same church with Mama Ngina, and he was like, if you start going after Mama Ngina, unashika a live wire. You're messing with a live wire, electric live wire. So do not go there. Do not. That's what Jimi Wanjigi said. Coffee is the coffee I'm drinking is like kicking in, so I'm like really hype about this because I'm excited. I'm so excited about this. This is how I love this stuff. I don't know how people miss it. This stuff, if you listen carefully to what these people say, it is all connected. Coffee time. Subscribe before I get started. Subscribe before I get started. And it's so funny because I was about to come in and talk about this, and right before I get started, I get this news here. Raila comes in and says, "You know what? I saved Ruto's government from collapsing." Why did he say that? Okay, if you look at the thumbnail, what does the thumbnail say? Take a look at my thumbnail. What did it say? It says the Wanjigi, Raila, and Gen Z Nexus connection in simple form. What's the connection between Jimi Wanjigi, Raila Odinga, and the Gen Zs? I'm about to show. We are about to get to it. Karibu, my good friend, Gypsy Corner. Nice seeing you, my friend. I'm about to get started. I'm about to get started. Like the video. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what to do with you. I'm offended. Let's start with this piece of news today that just came in today. Raila Odinga actually told people that he saved Ruto's behind. The Gen Z were about to take this thing over. Now, I will tell. Remember this morning I told you about a situation where if we face a what-if situation on Nane Nane, what-if situation, what if? When I say what if, I mean what are the likely scenario that are going to pan out on the 8th, which is Thursday, because Kenyans have decided they're going to converge at the CBD Nairobi, then give Ruto up to 3 p.m. local time, and if he doesn't resign, they shall march. They will march towards the State House, and they will camp there until Ruto resigns. The same way the Bangladeshi made sure that Miss Sheikh Hanisha, I think her name is like that, had to leave. He tried to send the police. The police, could not kill everybody. He sent the army. The army was like, no, this is our people. You got to go, miss. You got to go, missy. Get to that helicopter. Get the front door shut. And she left, okay? But let's stay focused. We are talking about Kenya. I told you, you have to put things into their proper perspective. Contextualize what you're saying. We want the same thing to happen in Kenya, but there are some factors that you have to consider. Who is really financing this Gen Z? Let's get started with this news today. Like, subscribe if you're just joining in. Let me start with this Raila first. Let me start with the because it's all connected. It's all connected. Be patient. I'll be here for an hour or so, or maybe less. But be patient with me because I want to walk you through this so you can see where I'm coming from. You can agree or disagree. This is open to everybody, okay? Let's go. Let me start with this piece of news that Raila was claiming today. How did he save Ruto in what way? We're about to get to that, Jacinta. And that is according to Raila. That's not what I'm saying. That's what Raila saying. We're about to see what he meant by that. So let's get to this. While I play this, please like the video, share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let's get started. Here is Raila Odinga. This is the piece of the news that we want to hear. No, not what we were about to listen to. That's what I meant. All right. Here it is. Travis Ombedia, I think that's his name. He is about to tell us.
Government intrigues. So Azimio leader Raila Odinga has revealed how he rescued Kenya Kwanza government from imminent collapse. Odinga says that the head of state reached out when it became clear that the team he had assembled to drive the government agenda failed, leading to the Gen Z-led anti-government protest. The Azimio leader then offered a helping hand by directing his key political lieutenants to join the new cabinet, where they are expected to turn things around. Odinga made the sentiments in his political backyard of Kibra when he visited victims of the Saturday Inferno.
2 weeks after President William Ruto nominated key opposition figures in his new cabinet, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has revealed the events leading to the incorporation of his key political confidants in the broad-based government. Odinga, who chose his political backyard Kibra to let the secret out, now says President Ruto approached him and asked for help in running government affairs following a month-long protest by Gen Zs.
Sasa mmeona jamaa walikuwa mashindwa ya kazi, wamevunja baraza ya mawaziri, wakaja kwetu kwamba tuwapatie watu. Akasema wanapiga magoti chini, tafadhali mpatie sisi watu wenu ni wanajua.
Azimio leader says he agreed to come to the rescue of Kenya Kwanza administration by releasing his close political allies who have since been invited and are expected to run key ministries such as the National Treasury, Energy, Mining and Blue Economy, and Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, as well as the East African Community seat, once approved by the National Assembly Appointment Committee.
Mwaka jana tulisema nataka saba ifanywe nini? Ifanywe nini? Mambo yangekuwa tofauti sana kama ingefanyika. Unajua haya? Sio mashindwa. Tumewapata sasa wataalamu. Utaona kama kazi inabadilika.
On the high cost of living, runaway corruption, unemployment, and bad governance and nepotism, which were among issues raised by the GNZs during their protest, Odinga has given an assurance that the issues will be addressed by the broad-based government.
Mwaka jana tulikuwa kwa barabara. Tulikuwa tunalilia nini? Mwanzo tulikuwa tunaongea mambo ya gharama ya maisha. Tulikuwa tunaongea mambo ya ukosefu ya kazi kwa vijana. Vile ni maneno ambayo hao vijana juzi Gen Z waliongea juu yake. Mambo yale yote bado yuko pale na tumesema mpaka yale yote yatatuliwe.
Odinga was speaking at Toy Market where 4 people died and property worth millions of shillings destroyed after a fire incident on Saturday directed Nairobi County to start construction of a new market.
Sasa leo nimetoa amri kwa gavana niambia kwamba hii ambayo inazungusha hapa yote ujenzi yake ianze mara moja. Maana yake hapa wako na shilingi milioni 100 katika bajeti yao ya mwaka huu ya kuanza kujenga hii soko.
Hakuna mtu atakula shamba ya hii soko. Haitawezekana. Na nataka wiki hii inakuja hii, kabla hatujafunga vikao vya Senate, nataka tumuite governor wa Nairobi. Tuzungumze na yeye, tumuulize ugumu wa kujenga hii wall ambayo tulikuwa tumesema ijengwe iko wapi.
The Azimio leader gave a personal contribution of 1.5 million shillings and 1,000 iron sheets to the victims of the inferno. Investigations into the fire incident is still ongoing, with traders who have already picked up the pieces demanding for arrest and prosecution of those suspected to be involved in the recent and past cases of fires witnessed at the market.
Donald Trump wakes up thinking about himself, how to enrich himself and his billionaire friends, stay out of jail, and give himself more power. Kamala Harris will work across the aisle and fight for a future that's not just about getting by, but getting ahead.
Here's a video.
All right. Okay. So, I want you to make a mental note on what I'm about to tell you. Number one, I want you to make a mental note that Jimi Wanjigi met with Eric Omondi yesterday somewhere in a hotel somewhere at night. Okay, that's what was reported. Okay, Eric Omondi, we know he's a very activist, whatever whatever they want to say. He's actively out there, part of the Gen Z's, whatever. Okay, he's that there. We know he wants to run for the Langata seat, but that's besides the point. Just make a mental note. Jimi Wanjigi met with Eric Omondi. Okay. All right. Have you done that? Okay. Number 2. I want you to remember that it has always been the plan since Uhuru Kenyatta's regime that the BBI was to do what? Was to be done what? To be brought about and implemented. Now, a lot of people disagreed with me. They were like, whatever, it's not. Yes, Uhuru tried it. And the reason why it failed at the courts because it was not a people's initiative during Kenyatta, Uhuru. The court said it was not a people's initiative because it required the constitution to be changed. And every time you try to mess with the constitution, that means we have to have a referendum. Are we together? So when Uhuru Kenyatta tried to bring it forth, some people ran to the courts and said, no, we cannot go on with this because this is coming from the executive. It is the president who is starting this thing and wants to force the people to go to a referendum in order to vote for this either new constitution or not, okay? And that's why the reggae was stopped, okay? Then we had all the shenanigans and Ruto became the president. And once he became the president, remember, Raila, in his first ever press conference after he lost the case in the Supreme Court, Kome said, hot air, whatever. He said he wanted something akin to the what? Kofi Annan Accord, also known as what? BBI, also known as Government of National Unity, also known as NADCO report. Okay? So he went to Mandamano and told you that he wanted the server, like he's telling the people there, server, price, cost of living, and all that rubbish. But really what they wanted was what? NADCO, which is BBI, which is Government of National Unity. So then, Akaenda Mandamano, they went up, whatever, with the shenanigans. Then, as Miguna told us way before the Mandamano stopped, Raila Odinga stopped the Mandamano because he was promised to go to AU, and part of the preconditions were he has to have 7 people join Ruto's cabinet, and then he will go to AUC. Tuko pamoja. Make a mental note of that. That is basically BBI being implemented in bits. Kalonzo was sitting on that NADCO report. Remember, they agreed upon everything. And again, the judge already ruled the second time because Ruto was holding on, not choosing the selection panel that is supposed to choose the next IBC, but he was holding on because he was saying that he wants to hear out the opposition. So then, finally, Waka agree, and they said, they are going to have an amendment of the IBC Act, which was part of the recommendations of the NADCO report, which already had been ruled to be unconstitutional by the High Court, because it was not a people's initiative. Again, the court did that the second time, say that wacheni kufanya hii mambo ya NADCO nonsense ya bomas, because you're doing that for political expediency. Fuateni the law. The law was Ruto was supposed to choose the selection panel, but as Nyoka kaleta kichwa yao, no, we have to have extra whatever, and also we have to have say in choosing the selection panel. So Ruto akadelay mpaka wakakubaliana na nini? Na hiyo NADCO. And you had one that I said that passing that IBC amendment bill was one of 9 recommendations that were in what? In that NADCO report. Okay? So the preconditions that Raila wanted, which is to go to AU, NADCO report to be implemented. Meanwhile, before it is implemented, this IBC amendment in a ifanyiwe. And there they did agree on that, and they went to KICC and signed it. Tuko pamoja. So you see, they're gradually in bits are bringing this IEBC, they're bringing this NADCO report into fruition by changing the laws with these amendments that they're bringing and all these bits. Oh, wakina umrani wandai wameingia kwa serikali sasa, wameingia kwa nini, wameingia kwa serikali, unaona? Now, the next step of the implementation of this NADCO report will require a change in the constitution. Follow me with this. Please follow me. Ukipotea uniambie nirudi nyuma. The next step in implementing this NADCO report will require that they change the constitution because they want to create extra VT. So you the official opposition of the opposition, so you prime cabinet minister, so you nini. In order to have that, or prime ministerial position, they have to change the constitution. And in order to change the constitution, they have to go for a referendum because everyone has to have a say in it. Vote yes or no for the whatever proposal that has been put forth, okay? Okay, for the proposition, okay? So listen up. So this is what they did. They chose the referee that's going to preside over this, this referendum through the IBC amendment bill. Because if you look at it, you'll have mobile voting in your stations. And number two, selection panel. In this selection panel, the people who will have the most say are coming from the coalitions, the two political coalitions, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Now that ODM is part of Kenya Kwanza, it's basically going to be the Kenya Kwanza side and the ODM who have been virtually bought off by joining this government, the cabinet, okay? You see what I'm saying? So basically, it will be this political class who will be choosing the next commissioners who will preside over the counting and the whole monitoring of this electoral process if we were to go for a referendum, okay? So hear me out. Now, remember I had a video some months ago, almost a year now, and I told you, in order to make people agree with what you know is unpopular, they're not willing to vote for, they don't want it, they don't like it, they don't support it. How, if you fail, you cannot persuade them. What do you do in that case? If you know the majority of Kenyans do not want this BBI NADCO nonsense. Because remember, I was up here when I asked in that amendment, IBC amendment bill, did they hold a public participation? Did they consult the people for the changes that they made in that bill? Because in every bill, every law that is to be made in the parliament, there should be public participation in every step, whether it's the first reading, second reading, third reading, whatever the case is. There was none. But anyway, let's relax. I hope you're following. I'm kuja pole pole. Nisikie, listen to me. You made the mental notes, eh? Yeah. Listen up real good. I said, in order for you to persuade the people to vote for a position or something that they do not want, you have to do what first? You have to create a crisis. Hegelian dialectic. Creates the problem. Okay? Your problem ikisha chacha. Cha. Watu wanachinjana, watu wanapigana. It's too bad. you come with a solution. Unakuja unasema, hey, ngojeni, tuleni, I have the solution. Tulieni. Hii vita mnachapana hapa hivi, nitakuja na suluhisho. So majority of Kenyans do not want this 2010 constitution to be changed. But the political class want it to be changed. That's why if you listen to Wandai, if you listen to Raila Odinga, the last speech that he made in that funeral, and even before that, he kept on mentioning what? Broad-based national conversation. He avoided the word dialogue because those kids that in that quarry told him no dialogue. So they are used broad-based national conversation. They want to meet at Bomas. Everyone come to Bomas. Remember, every time there's a talk of changing the constitution, they always organize a choreographed baraza where the people who tend to be for the change or not for the change show up and give their speeches, and what wanashangilia. Then after that, they go to referendum. That's why you had Raila, they keep on saying we should have a broad-based national conversation where everybody is invited. Remember that? And Ruto is saying the same thing. Oh, okay. What I'll do, our Gen Z, nitafungua baraza, we shall have at Bomas, watu wajitokeze, anybody, hao vijana wakuje tuongee. Azimio will be there, nyinyi watu mtakuja, lawyer mkitaka kuja, tutakuwa na hii baraza tuongee hapa. Kujeni. That is always a step before the preparation of nini? Vote yes or no in a referendum. Are we together up to there? Ama nimewapoteza? Mnaona? Mnasikia? Inakuja pole. Now, you might be sitting there and asking, where does Gen Z fall in this? How do they play? What part are they playing in this whole grand plan, grand conspiracy by this political class? Where do they fit in? What role are they playing? Listen carefully. I will take you back. After Ruto and Raila walikubaliana kusikizana aende AU and all that stuff, let me take you back. This was 5 months ago. Raila was to meet one person, somebody interesting he had lunch with that day, and they made sure that the Ninio knew, the news people knew. Listen to this closely if you remember this part.
The businessman Jimi Wanjigi has today held a closed-door meeting with the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga. In what he said was to discuss matters of national importance. The meeting, which comes 2 years since the former bosom buddies had a bitter fallout in the run-up to the 2022 general election, is a sign the two could be forming a working political relationship akin to the 2013 general polls, where the billionaire was termed as the financier of Odinga's campaign. KTN's political affairs reporter Ruto interrogates the latest development.
What is the problem? They say in politics there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies, just permanent interests. 2 years since he was wrapped up and unceremoniously bundled out of the ODM National Delegates Convention held at the Kasarani Gymnasium, former presidential aspirant in the 2022 general polls, Jimi Wanjigi, held a closed-door meeting with the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader after a period of not seeing eye to eye. Although the two leaders did not address the media after the meeting that lasted close to 2 hours in a popular Nairobi hotel, highly placed sources intimate that the two leaders discussed ways to join forces to work towards countering President William Ruto's economic decisions. Details also indicate the two discussed ways and strategies to address the high cost of living and the new taxes being introduced by the president, among others. The recent statements from the Azimio leader and the political power broker may not have come as a surprise, as the two have been speaking in tandem with each other in the recent past.
Tunasema mwaka mpya, hii sheria ya kodi mpaka itolewe, ile finance bill mpaka itolewe. Asipotoa hiyo finance bill, tutarudi kwenye uwanja.
I support him 101%. Street action, maandamano are embedded in our constitution. This pain must be expressed, and let it be expressed on the streets. Let it be expressed wherever, in our homes, in our churches. We must express it.
Wanjigi and Odinga had a bitter fallout before the 2022 general election after Odinga teamed up with the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta. Wanjigi blamed Odinga, calling him a sellout for working with Kenyatta, whom they had also had frosty relations. The two are expected to ramp up the political activities in the coming days as they seek to keep the Kenya Kwanza administration in check.
Lakini sisi wenyewe tulisema gharama maisha ilikuwa ni juu, tukaambia serikali wasiongeze ushuru, wakazidi kuongeza ushuru, na hiyo ndio imeleta hasara kubwa kwa Wakenya.
Kenya Kwanza is going to take us and is taking us to a route of bankruptcy. That pain will be felt in 2024.
Still, it will be a wait and see as to whether the business mogul will extend an olive branch to the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the chairman of the Azimio Council. Emmanuel Cho, KT.
It's called no tax on tips.
No taxes on tips. It's something that hits home for so many right here in the Valley. Effectively, Donald Trump has given them a raise.
His no tax on tips policy is going to help my family.
No tax on tips.
All right. There's one thing we can establish now. One thing we can establish now. Jimi Wanjigi has always been the money behind a lot of these political movements. There you had it. He was the the financier rather, of the ODM brigade when they were doing their own thing, Mandamano and all that stuff, okay? Now, let's move over. Remember, I asked you to keep a mental note of that rumor that was said Eric Omondi and Jimi Wanjigi met at night somewhere. What were they discussing? I told you, if you look at Eric Omondi, he's one of those people who are known to, he can organize people for a mandamano or something like that. He's an activist. He's always up there in the streets, knows how to let out, okay? So what I'm trying to say is this. It is also alleged that Jimi Wanjigi has been behind the financing of this Gen Zs. He has been allegedly been the financier of this Gen Z movement. Now, what could be his motivation in this? Because remember, he's the same guy who told Ruto, we are giving you 3 months up to April to address the debt issue. If not, utaona, we shall go to Mandamano and we shall remove you, basically. Okay? This is what he was saying. Okay? Not only that, hold on, let me show you something. There's some tweets coming out. Let me show you something. I want to show you something. That's why I'm not discouraging Gen Zs. Do not be discouraged about 899 bado tuko tunaenda, okay? Don't get it twisted. We are going. No, tuko. Okay. Nelson Amenya. Let me just show you his tweet here. Let me show you. I want you to follow very carefully what these people say and what happens. Connect the dots. Now, here it is, Nelson Omenya. He posted this. Let me, if I can enlarge this thing. I can't. Okay, but can you see the screen, people, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades? I'll read it for you for those of you who cannot see it. Maybe it's too small for you to read, but I will read it for you loudly. He basically retweeted a tweet by MJ, which say, kuna siku I ask a question hapo kwa Hanifa, nikapikwa na Somalis ka nonsense. Alidhani watapika Amerix pia. Anyway, then here he says, the retweeted tweets that he retweeted was by MJ saying, Amerix, then question marks. Like Amerix huyu moja, then he laughs. Ukiona jokes wewe. Then he's actually retweeting a tweet from Hanifa which says, I'm actually starting to believe this. I'm sorry, please don't cook me, but Amerix, Nyakundi, Gaito, Aoko, and Oduk are being financed by Jimi Wanjigi. Have you ever seen them on? Then it goes on, whatever. Okay, so basically say Amerix, Nyakundi, Gaito, Oduk, these are people that are being financed by Jimi Wanjigi. The point I'm trying to make is that like there is circumstantial evidence. Let me just put it that way. It's not direct. Circumstantial evidence. And it's also being alleged that Jimi Wanjigi is one of the financiers of this Mandamano. Okay? So listen up. Listen up. On the 8th, the Gen Zs are going to the streets, right? This is the what if I wanted to mention. The what if. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, because nobody really knows what will happen. But there's a possibility. So this is where I come in. This is conjecture on my part. And I can be wrong, I can be right. You believe it or not, you don't have to believe what I say. I'm just giving you the source, okay? So the 8th, watu wanakutana Nairobi, CBD. Tuende hapo, there's thousand upon thousand and thousand and thousand youth in every age group, from baby boomers, Gen Zs, millennials, Gen X, whatever. We are in Nairobi. We are marching. Tuko hapo mbele ya State House. It's been a week. The crisis is fever pitch hot. Ruto is stressed out, so to speak. Okay? We're in a stalemate. The Gen Z's protesters are not giving up, and Ruto is not giving up. He's not at the State House, but the people have camped at the State House. We have an impasse. It's an impasse. There's no political situation, solution, suluhisho. Watu wako downtown, wamesema Ruto must go. We are not decamping. Tuna camp hapa, tutakaa hapa. Hapa kama tunakufa tukufe hapo. Mpaka Ruto aotolewe. Mpaka resign. Na Ruto on the other hand is saying, I'm not leaving. I was duly elected, to borrow the words of the late Kibaki. I was duly elected the president of Kenya. Siondoki. Hamtanipeleka mahali. Mkitaka mchome hiyo State House, I'm not leaving. Mimi niko Sigoi na ngoja mkimaliza hiyo upuzi yenu muende nyumbani. There's an impasse. Yes, Tobias, nice meeting you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe. Kuna 68 people watching this thing. Can you all subscribe? Na mulike video. Let's have 100 likes, please. But anyway, so I'm painting a picture of what could be, what is happening. The situation is that we have an impasse. We have thousands of youth who have descended upon the beautiful city of Nairobi, the Nairobi capital, and they're demanding that Ruto resigns. And Ruto, on the other hand, has called on his military most trusted top guns, led by her side piece, to make sure that State House is not invaded. So we have an impasse. The members, the clergymen are out there saying, please, let us have a talk so we can break this impasse. Guess what's going to be introduced at that moment? Guess what is going to be introduced whenever we have an impasse like that? What is going to be brought about that is usually common every time there's a serious mandamano in Kenya? What do they usually call for? Somebody please answer me if you're in the chat. Please answer me. Whenever there is an impasse, whenever there's a mandamano, whenever people are peed off, wamekasirika, wako maandamano, wanasema Ruto mpaka a resign. What usually happens then? Mtu anijibu. If you know the answer, please tell me what usually happens. Every time there's a maandamano, watu wamekasirika, wamesema Zakayo mpaka shuke. What usually happens? I'll tell you what will happen. It will be like Bangladesh. That could be. That's a good answer. It's going to be like Bangladesh, who has just resigned. And let me tell you, that's why I said we have to contextualize. We have to put things into the Kenyan context. Bangladesh happens. That's why I said I can't speak much about what happened in Bangladesh because I don't know how the political power play is. But what I can tell you about Kenya is that it's a little bit complicated compared to what happened in Bangladesh. And if it was up to me, I hope we do what the Bangladeshis did. I hope we do that. Please. Ebu 80 people hapo, ebu like me hapo na musubscribe. Nyote musubscribe kama naendelea. I'll break it down because you might not suspect this, but let me help you out. Let me help you out. Good answer, Tobias, JTs. Okay? But here is what usually happens. Every time people are really tethered, angry, okay, apoplectic, they're out there, enraged by the political class, and they've taken action. They're out there protesting, camping, saying Ruto has to go or else. Guess the idea shall be brought in. An idea called a national broad-based conversation should be held to quell the situation between the Gen Zs and the ruling party. Yes, Gypsy, thank you. Raila already threw you a hint. He said, hey, I just saved his behind. They were going to be removed by Gen Z. I saved his behind. But actually, he went there and because Ruto agreed to meet up his preconditions, which was to put the list that he gave out to be part of the cabinet and him being supported to go to AU. So at that point, where Gen Zs, this is one scenario. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. You hear what House of Heru is saying something? Okay. Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Dialogue accommodates official opposition. Yes. At that point, when siasa imefika fever pitch, watu wamekasirika, people are in front of the State House. They're ready to storm in. There shall be calls from the clergymen. There shall be calls from Meg Whitman. There shall be calls from the Islamic head of Dinio. There shall be calls from everywhere. And there shall be calls. Raila, Ruto, sijui nani, sijui. They'll say, okay. I am willing to have a national, broad-based conversation on how we can take care of what you're complaining about. And guess what? Because remember, these are the very people who are telling you that when Ruto is removed and lost legitimacy, they are telling you that there'll be anarchy. There shall be a vacuum. Munaskia, these are the very people who are telling me there shall be anarchy and there shall be a vacuum if Ruto was to leave. Ruto and Gachagua leaves the new presidency. They are telling you that there will be anarchy. So they shall come with your anarchy, wanasema, your solution, suluhisho, that vacuum that they claim that will be there if Ruto leaves, they shall fill that vacuum by coming in with a broad-based national conversation dialogue in order to address the problems that Gen Z are complaining about while they are standing right in front of State House. And they shall invite those who are camping up there to Tukutane Boma Sama Kasarani so you can address those issues. And in fact, the solution will be simple. Tutawapatia makazi nyinyi msijali, si mko na shida hapo. So the solution is this. Yes, to neutralize. Yes, House of Heru, thank you very much. To neutralize, that's the word I was looking for. And in order to neutralize that, they'll tell you that the solution is this. We've heard what you've asked for. We have a broad-based national conversation that we are going to hold. The only thing you have to do is just tafadhali mwache kukampa hapo mbele ya State House. Rudini nyumbani, I'm willing to talk to you guys. And part of the solution is a conversation on how to change this constitution so that everybody can have a piece of leadership. Yes, Boniface amejitoa. Boniface amejitoa because the pressure was on him. They were saying, oh, this guy is being paid. Then he has, he's talking about suicide and he's doing in I don't know what. I'm not going to, I don't know what's going on with Boniface Mwangi, but he knows how serious this is. I told you in the first place that even, thank you, Kevin Obura. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment. Please, guys, there's 84 people here. Please, please, please support the channel. Support the channel by subscribing and liking this video and put your notification on. Please, we need 100 likes, please. So what I'm trying to say is this. Remember, in this Gen Z, while majority of these young folks are going out there and they're going to CBD on the 8th with the thinking that they are going to remove Ruto. They're going to camp and make sure that Ruto goes home. Majority of them are going for that very purpose. Okay? Mnaelewa? Majority of them are the... Naambia, kila mtu akona lengo yake. But the people, thank you, Kevin Obura, thank you so much. The people, the financiers, okay? The Jimi Wanjigis, the coordinators, wale wako huko juu, they know what's up. They know the end game. And they are going to choreograph that end game in such a way it will only benefit the political class and help them implement the very thing they've been fighting for since the beginning, which is a government of national unity, which shall bring Kalonzo in place, Raila in place, Wamalwa in place, and all that out of this mandamano that's going to happen on the 8th. All you have to do is look at the financiers and the faces of this mandamano. Listen, as much as I like what this guy Samuel, I think Samuel Makaure or something like that. Okay? I'm not caught up with his oratory prose or his dressing and all the shenanigans. I listen to what he says. He says all the good things, but you have to ask you one thing that he said and also ask yourself a question. Where did this boy come from? Where is he just out of the blues? I know he's kind of a cloud chaser, which is fine. He's marketing himself. That's fine. But where is he coming from? And the other day I had his interview. I think somebody was interviewed. He said, yes, my dream is to run for office, public office. Okay? Because he said it's easier to fight the system while you are in the system rather than being outside the system. That's what he said. And that's when I started having red flags. There's something about him. I don't know. He's saying all the right things, but there's something about it that I can't quite put my finger on. That's fishy about this Makoures Samuel, whatever his name is. There's something. I don't know. There's something. With time, we'll know. But what I'm saying is this: not to just call him, not to isolate him by himself, because there's a bigger problem here. I'm just saying, could it be? What if this whole movement, this whole maandamano, being led by Gen Z, they are being used as the crisis needed to push the country into accepting this whole idea of changing the constitution to accommodate this very political class in the name of inclusivity and national broad-based dialogue, conversation, or whatever the bullcrap you want to say. That's what I'm saying. It hit me when I heard that Jimi Wanjigi was behind this. I've never trusted Jimi Wanjigi. He says good stuff. He talks good talk. I'm telling you. But the fact that Jimi Wanjigi has always rubbed shoulders with the oppressive regime, these same crass leaders that have been... Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. Our Majama, if you look at this lot, think about it carefully. Raila, Ruto, Uhuru, Kalonzo, Wamalwa, and Gilu, and Martha Karua. Since 1992, these guys have been playing musical chairs in the political realm. Mara wako kwa serikali, mara wako opposition. Mara wako serikali, mara wako opposition. Mara wako serikali, mara wako opposition. National Government of National Unity. Oh, mnusumkate. Mara wako opposition, mara wako government. Mara wako opposition, same people. It never changes. But anytime temperature ikipanda kidogo, ikipanda wananchi wamekasirika kabisa. Wananchi wakikasirika, oh, they create a crisis. Hey, mandamano. Then after mandamano, you'll hear the clergymen, the corrupt clergymen, and the useless professors, the semi-illiterates, talk about, oh, we need to have a dialogue. Dialogue. Wachini tukae chini. Because that is what will happen. I don't know. Let me say what will happen. I don't know. I don't have the clairvoyance of what will happen. But I will guarantee you there are people who will call for that. At that point, when our vijana Gen Z wameenda downtown and people are being shot, watu wanakuwa kidnapped, na wamekasirika na bado wana protest, you'll hear a bunch of people call for a dialogue. And they will be pushing hard for this Raila Ruto broad-based national conversation. And part of the solution will be to change the constitution, because their aim is to change the constitution by 2025. Next year, they want a new constitution. That's what they've been fighting for ever since. Remember, this whole BBI thing is illegal. The court has pronounced itself several times, whether it was during the Uhuru regime and this regime. Less than 4 months ago, the High Court said, wacheni mambo ya BBI. BBI is just your story. It is not anchored in law. But they kept on. The way that these people always keep the law and disrespect the law and not follow the law and not abide by the constitution, they usually use their political muscle when I create maandamano. Raila knew very well that the president was supposed to pick up the selection panel, who in turn select the commissioners. But he didn't want to use that way, so he had to muscle his way by doing what? Creating a crisis through Mandamano and people dying, so that they come and have this, because it has always been the same faces. They want to maintain the same faces. Mara wako opposition, mara wako government. Mara wako opposition, mara wako government. Kwa government, opposition, opposition, government. They are always the same people. Na saa ile wanataka kupitisha kitu ambayo wamejua Wakenya hawataki. They want to change the constitution. Wana create crisis, alafu wanaleta constitution, a law that will help them and their children to continue ruling over us. So be careful, even as you go out there on the 8th. Even as you go out there on the 8th. Mukianza kusikia watu wakisema ati tuendeni nyumbani tu. Because here's the deal, listen to me. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, but it might happen. It's a possibility. And there'll be people pushing for it. Unasikia vizuri? Because listen to me. The aim is to do what? Gen Z wamesema on the 8th they're going there and they're going to camp vile Bangladesh walifanya. Camp, wakae hapo na hawatatoka mpaka Ruto resign. That is the plan. Sasa hiyo siku ikifika unkaanza kusikia mtu akisema ati tuendeni nyumbani, imetosha, we've won. Just like wakina Hanifa was saying na Mwangi. We reached tulifika nini bunge. We invaded the parliament. Sasa turudini nyumbani, imetosha. We've won already. Tumeforce Ruto akarudisha hiyo finance bill. We'll force Ruto sijui nini. Sasa unajua nini? If on the 8th wa invade your state house, utasikia we've won, because Ruto atatoka sema okay, hiyo mlikuwa mtaki hawa CS, nitawatoa basi, nitaleta CS wengine basi. We shall not, wakina Oparanya hawatapitishwa, wakina Joho hawatapitishwa, ataleta wengine, maybe Babu Owino or someone. Then he will say that, you see, alafu wakina Hanifa will say, you know what, we've achieved a lot, we won, we forced Ruto to change his cabinet. Silikuwa mtaki Murkomen, tumetoa Murkomen. Silikuwa mtaki Kindiki, tumetoa Kindiki. Silikuwa mtaki Edwin Duale, ametoa Edwin Duale. Silikuwa mtaki sijui nani, tumemtoa. Then wakina Hanifa na John Mwangi atasema, nani Mwangi huyu sijui na Boniface Mwangi atasema, hey, we've won, you see? We forced Ruto to do this and that. So as you go out there on the 8th, focus on what the goal is. Because the financiers, like I say, if it's true, it's alleged that is what's his face? Jimi Wanjigi. His past, for a man who said that the cabinet ya Uhuru Ruto was formed in his living room, I don't have a lot of faith that this man would like to see a total overhaul of the system. I mean, he says nice stuff. He does a good job on the debt and all that stuff. I'll give him that. But does he really want to overhaul a system that he actually made his billions off? That's the question. I question everything. You have to question everything. Hata kitu nasema hapa, question it. Hata ndio Mungu alisema, test me, test the spirits, see which one is real. Hata mimi vitu nasema hapa, inaweza kuwa ni stories za jaba. So test it. Look, does it make sense to you? It doesn't have to make sense. Kama it makes sense, it's okay. I'm not right all the time. Hata mimi pia hufanya makosa. Maybe it's just a thought. So don't take it as gospel truth, but you have to question everything. Hata ama Gen Z, question who are they? Who's financing them? What's really their goal? Who is really pushing them into this? I agree with them. I want change. I would like to see Ruto gone. But at the same time, you have to. That's why I said we can achieve what Bangladesh has achieved, but we have to consider what's the challenges in the Kenyan context. We have the Railas, we have Nani, these financiers. who all have their own agenda. Watajifanya ati they're part of the Gen Zs and they're pro-Gen Z, but wako na agenda yao. Yes, amesema 88 hakuna shortcuts. I like that. No shortcuts. Like the kama hamja subscribe na hamja like memes sijui nitawafanya nini. Please. I'm sweating here like a slave. The best you can do for me is like and subscribe to the video. I will appreciate that. Thank you so much. Mary Wilborn is saying, that's what they've been fighting for. Ruto dragged his feet and now he's rushing to it. But I think they've run out of time. They delayed the game and may have fumbled the ball. I hope that's the case. I hope so. I hope that. House of Heru is saying, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, how come they can rally as a nation while Kenyans cannot go all the way? I don't get it. We have to. The reason why we usually cannot rally as a country as one is for the very reason you see Ruto, the game Gachagua and Ruto is playing. I'm not paying attention to that Gachagua nonsense that he was talking about in whatever interview he was talking. Because this is all choreographed. They're trying to create this impression that there's tribal tension between Mount Kenya and Kalenjins and I'm not buying that nonsense. No. Majority of Kenyans are all suffering and they're not happy with the ruling class and the government. So I don't want to hear that nonsense about Sisi watu wa Mount Kenya. No. The people of Mount Kenya are part of Kenya and they're also suffering just like other part of Kenya. So let's come together as one and remove this political class so we can have people who we actually elected who are going to do and represent our best interest. Tusicheze mchezo wa paka na panya ya Gachagua and Ruto. No. And Raila and whoever. Okay? We're not buying that. Kasam Makoure, real name is Samuel Makari from Baringo, musician turned activist. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. This is why Gen Z shouldn't have a leader. Yes. He's not a leader. He's not a leader per se, but the thing is, like I said, Gypsy. Yeah. So mnanisikia? Hey. Anyway. I just have to jump on this before I end this. Captain, usiseme good night. Let me give him time. Captain. Ndani yako hapo. What's a face? Tu ni yako hapo. Hebu umulize ile fare iliendaje. Captain you mention. I didn't mention you. Sawa basi tu ni. Mimi nakwambia tu Captain was mentioning you alituma fare. I don't know what's happened. Yeah. Let me see. Nani aliuliza kitu kingine? Joho is a right scam. Have you seen what he has been doing in Mombasa? If you're referring to what they did to that blog, I think that fell under the governor. What's his face? Huyo governor alikuwa anaitwa nani? Lakini nywele yangu jamani. What's the name of that governor? Abdul Swamad or whatever the case is. No, it's not me. Captain ya military stories zako. Me sijaleta stories zingine. Hey. Ay. Drama. Atituni, don't think what I'm writing here is serious instead of writing what you Ay, this is too funny. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Niko na ka ninio meeting on Meet in like 10 minutes, so mpaka niende nichanue nywele na kadhalika during your meeting, but otherwise I would have brought you here. Nyagaka, shout out to you. Ni wewe anawacha kuchoma maneno hapa. Anyway, Captain, kesho nitakuwekea link. Kesho I'll do a double session. I'll start in the morning probably, or in the afternoon somewhere. Early enough for people in Kenya or Europe, whatever the case you are. Tuni, you're invited. Kesho Tuni utaingia studio na ufungue camera. Thank you for watching, by the way. Ani kama kawaida, Gypsy Corner, everybody else, Oscar, DJ Madi, DJ Modi, sorry. Everybody else. So Poleni, I couldn't put the link kwa sababu I have to, time. But kesho niko free, nitakuwa na time. Na nini yote. Atia tume fare. Captain umeambiwa uchutume fare. Please send the fare. Tuni tutakuchokoza mpaka ile siku utaingia ninio. Tuni tutakuchokoza mpaka ile siku utaingia stage. Ukiingia kwa ninio, ukiingia kwa vipindi studio na ucontribute, tutawacha kukuenjoy. Until then, it's fair game. When a captain tutawaenjoy. How was that? Yeah. But anyway, guys, share, subscribe, like, comment. Yeah. Atunasikia ati wanazunguka na bakuli huko CST wakiomba ya kulipa base, alafu hawana aibu kusema tuko broke. Sasa we umeleta stories za huko nini? Tulikuwa tunaongea siasa lakini nyinyi mko na siasa mingi hapa. We tu ni wacha kukasirika. It's jokes, it's fun and games. Don't take it. Usiweke kwa roho. I know it might be irritating. I told you what you need to be doing. Just log in, ingia studio, contribute. The debate between you. Jesus. Captain, kwani in WWF, aki niko na meeting in like 9 minutes. Like I'm entertaining this Tuni and Captain. Na ani wewe ndio unawachokoza. WWE. Leo Tuni amekasirika, Ai, wacheni uchokozi. Tuni hiyo ni we. I'm not dealing with this. Kesho ni Friday, muingie hapa ndio itakuwa mnyereka, as they say, WWE wrestling. But this is fun. Anyway, shout out to Nani, Pen Nyagaka. Sorry, I couldn't put the link. Time. Same thing with Nani, Melchizedek. Nitawekea link kesho. Itabidi tuzoe. Ai. Yeah. Sawa. Anyway, guys. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe, comment. Hebu mshare hizi video kwa nini, kwa hizo political WhatsApp groups. Hata kwa ile WhatsApp group ambayo nani Ugachagua ametolewa, mweke hii video huko waione. Okay? Kesho maybe we'll be lucky enough to have Captain with us tomorrow. Hopefully ataingia hapa ka ako level 5. Amekunywa ile kitu. And hopefully Tony will also join us here. So Captain, umesikia, kesho ukue hapa. Tony pia, please, tutaanza mapema kesho. Bora siombi rent ya bill, I can still manage my responsibility. Hata kukunywa ni daily na kuna kitu utafanya. Okay, hiyo ni shauri yenu. Nyinyi mtaendelea, endeni CCT mkaendelea hizo vita zenu. But anyway, kama nataka kuendelea hizo vita, kesho nitawafungulia ninio. Kesho it will be anything goes. Anything goes. Tutaendelea kesho. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you so much, Gypsy. Thank you so much, Tuni. Thank you so much for joining me. Captain, thank you. Kama kawaida tukutane kesho, siasa kali, okay? Anyways, sawa basi. I'm out. Peace. Ay.